Hi, we are doing our 28-day guide, and this video is to help you along those 4 weeks. So in my book, Keto Living Day by Day, on pages 60, I think it's 60 through 61, I have meal plans. I talk about meal plan. Now, just saying that word, some of you are like, meal plans, yes, and your pantry is color-coded. Some of you are going, meal plan, I ain't got time for that. I understand, and so I've tried to keep the meal plans really, really simple. In fact, on page 68, I talk about when planning fails, what to do with a plan B. So if you're not a meal planner, pages 68 and 69 are for you. If you do like meal planning, take a look. I actually have on page 58 and 59, I actually have lists. So if you have these things in stock, like you've got cauliflower and you want to make something with cauliflower, here are the recipes in this book that use cauliflower. Same thing with jalapenos. These are 4 things that use jalapenos. If you're like me, what happens to vegetables in my house is just a tragedy. And so I can look at this and go, okay, I really need to use up this broccoli. Here are some recipes that use broccoli. But I also have on page 60 through 61 a meal plan. This is the first meal plan that we're going to use in our 28-day guide. And what I have done is I've listed the recipe. And so this is an idea of what you can have for breakfast, lunch, dinner. And this is prep tasks. So on the first day, usually a Saturday or Sunday, you want to do all of this prepping and look through the week. It's so simple. You don't have to cook a lot, because if you're like me, kids in school, or you're working full-time, husband or spouse, significant other is working full-time, you've got to keep it simple every evening. And so these are the simple things to do. So the meal plan is on page 60 and 61. You can also go to my website, and on the website, there's a form, a blank form, to make your own weekly meal plan. So if you are maybe you're single or you're not cooking for a family like I am, you can do your own meal plans. Maybe you just eat 2 meals a day and that's sufficient for you. Or maybe you look at my meal plan and you go, that's a lot of food. Or I don't like broccoli. Or I don't like, I think noodleless lasagna is on the meal plan for the first week. I don't like that. That's fine. You don't have to eat it. So there's a blank form on the website that you can make your own meal plan with foods that you do love, and you can adapt the meal plans I provided. I actually walk you through how to meal plan in the book, and we'll go back to that in just a minute. There's also a shopping list on the website. So if you are going to follow meal plan 1 on page 60, 61 of the book, here's a shopping list. It has a list of the recipes. These are the recipes we're making for week 1, and here's your shopping list. You can print this out, take it to the store, and check it off, or print it out, go through your own fridge, freezer, pantry, see what you already have, and then go shopping for the other things that you need. And of course, adjust it if you're not cooking that many. Let's talk a little bit about meal planning. There are some people, like I said, who just really love it. They really embrace the whole meal planning thing. And there's some people who simply don't. And I get that. I think that what's important with meal planning is 2 things. Well, actually, I talk about on page 56 and 57, kind of the advanced topics. But I think a lot of it is about thinking differently about what you eat and getting used to those new foods. We tend to be creatures of habit. And so I know that, like I mentioned before, oftentimes we eat the same things for breakfast or lunch or dinner every day. And I think when you start creating those new habits, that was important for me. In fact, I talk about take the new recipe challenge in the book. What I did was early on, I thought to be successful for keto, I needed to develop easy go-to recipes. So I knew, but before we went low carb, I had 5 things I always had on hand that I can make a really quick dinner. And so I asked people to give me 5. Think about 5 really quick meals that you can make that maybe you aren't even cooking. Skillet pizza, and there's a video on YouTube here for skillet pizza. It's also in the book. Skillet pizza can be made in like 5 or 10 minutes with stuff that's easy to keep on hand in the fridge. So have those things, those go-to things, so that you don't go to the drive-through and you don't go to those old bad habits of opening up, a package of Rice-A-Roni or something like that. Just throw that stuff out. But on page 56 through 57, I talk a little bit about it. I choose times for shopping, meal planning, and batch cooking. And usually that's on the weekends for me. I like to go shopping early on a Saturday morning or Sunday morning. I like to be at the grocery store 7:30, 8 a.m. I like to be there before others are there, so it's quiet. I can think, I can get my shopping done. Usually the kids are still in bed and I come back home before they're even up. So that works nicely for me. I don't feel like I'm losing time with them, and it takes me less time in the grocery store because there are fewer people. And because there are fewer people, if there's something missing or I need help, I can ask, and usually the store folks are able to help me. I also try to set aside time on Sundays for batch cooking. And what I found, if I'm standing at the stovetop, I can brown the ground beef, I can brown the sausage for breakfast, I can make sausage patties, I can attend to those 2 skillets at once, and it saves me time later on. Cooking the meat is the big thing for me in terms of prepping for the week. Also, I always think about my schedule when I meal plan. This is the second tip. Think about your family's schedule. Think about any changes or disruptions to your typical schedule. So this next week for us is quite hectic. Not only do the children have things after school, but we have things Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night that we're involved with. So I have to think about, are we all going to be eating at the same time? Are we all going to be sitting down at the table, or does one person need to eat before an event at 6 o'clock? Does someone else need to eat after they get home at 7 or 7:30? And in that case, I want to have things in the fridge that can easily be heated up and eaten quickly, or something that I can make earlier in the day that will be okay warmed over or be okay for the kids to grab and go. So I also think about, and that impacts the amount of time I have. Will I be home for 30 minutes or 45 minutes in between events so I can actually make something? Do I need to put something in the crock pot in the morning so they can serve themselves from the crock pot later in the afternoon? So I always think about our family schedule so I don't get derailed. And sometimes meal planning involves planning to eat out. Maybe the only time I have is running through a drive-through on the way from one thing to the next. The third tip I have for meal planning is determine your main dishes based on family requests, grocery store sales, or foods you already have on hand. I am really bad to do that, or maybe it's good, but I'll sit down with the family often on Sundays. I'll ask them, or on Fridays, is there anything you'd like for the week? And sometimes, Grace will say, I want zuppa toscana, I want sausage and kale soup, or she'll tell me things that she does or doesn't want. More often than not, they tell me what they don't want. But when I go to the store, I actually look through the sales papers or I look online, and I'll say, wow, okay, ground beef is on sale, we're having that. Just today, I looked in the fridge and there are ribs in the fridge. I'm like, oh, I need to use these ribs. So guess what, guys, we're having ribs. What would you like to go with the ribs this week? And so that's one of the ways I plan with what I have on hand, so I'm not wasting money. The last tip, or the fourth tip I put in here, is plan multiple meals around the same ingredients to save money. So, for example, if I see spinach on sale, I might grab a couple bags of spinach because I can use it to make creamed spinach, right? I can also use it to make my spinach salad with hot bacon fat dressing. That recipe is in the book. I can just add some grilled chicken or whatever protein with that. Actually, when you add the egg and the bacon, you get plenty of protein. It's a full meal in there. And so for me, it's easier if I'm making multiple meals. I do that a lot with hamburger. I'll buy hamburger, I'll make the 20-minute skillet, which the recipe's in here. I'll season it with taco seasoning, recipe is here, to make skillet tacos, or to make spaghetti sauce bolognese, which is in here as well. So there's a lot of things you can do that don't take a lot of time, that are simply thinking ahead when it comes to meal planning. So I hope that the website shopping list is easy for you. We're going to do that every single week. There'll be a shopping list for weeks 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you don't want to follow the meal plans that we provide, there's a blank weekly meal plan for you to do your own. And you can use my book or whatever websites to find your favorite recipes, like re-meat chili, so that you can follow along on the 28-day guide. I hope that this section on meal planning is helpful to you.